Big shout to the ghosts and the ghost sets. The purge is here. New York is under attack. We talked about the Safety Act in Illinois, what it's going to do to Chicago. Would you believe me if I told you that if you're in New York, if you live in New York, and you see somebody on a scooter, not the slang for Harley Davidson, on a scooter, you could lose your life? Well, we're going to get into it on this episode of Demons Row TV. And oh yeah, we ghosting, baby. Big shout to the ghosts and the ghost sets. Welcome to Demons Row TV, the holy grail of MC culture, where we cover everything motorcycle and motorcycle club involved. I'm Sose The Ghost. I'm your host for the evening, and I'm telling you, I grew up in the Bronx. I lived in the Bronx over 30 years, 30 something. I don't even know the exact amount of years. So all I know is the Bronx. And I'm telling you, the Bronx in the 80s and the 90s, that's what it looks like right now. When Giuliani came in, he brought the death penalty. He shook New York up. New York was a different place. John Gotti, the whole mob, they all went down. Everything started to change. Everybody was doing bigger bids. It started to calm down. Now, there's always been violence, but right now, it reminds me of the 80s. Right now, it reminds me of the 90s. Every single major city that is left controlled, and let me tell you something, I'm not right or left. Both of them work together and conspire against you. Every major city that is ran by the left, Chicago, New York, the most dangerous places to live are places that are Democrat controlled. It is what it is. New York is a dumpster fire right now. And listen, I'm New York to the core. I got it tatted on me. You see, I'm a big time Giants fan. Yankees, Knicks, Rangers, everything New York. But right now, what they're doing to this state, to one of the capitals of the world. New York used to be like the capital of the world. You could argue New York, LA, London, which one was it? But we all know the money is in New York. All the main attractions are New York. The Yankees are in New York, the greatest team in the world. But let's get into this footage right now, and I'm going to show you how bad it's getting in New York right now.
We're following a developing story now with 17-year-old girl shot and killed in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, and police say the suspects took off on a scooter.
CBS 2's Tim McNicholas is live in Crown Heights with more for us. Tim.
Christine and Maurice, police say 8 shots were fired at a group standing outside this building. A bullet struck that 17-year-old in the face and killed her. No word yet on a motive. She was the only one hit. And as you mentioned, police say the two suspects took off on a scooter.
A 17-year-old girl shot by dudes on scooters. Could you imagine being a family member, 17 years old, and still MCs, bikers, everybody in general, we're divided by the smallest shit that doesn't matter while all this type of stuff is going on. It's getting worse and worse every day. The time for unification is, hello, wake up people. When are we gonna stop beefing over the smallest stuff? And listen, I like the social media stuff. I use it for business. I use it for Demons Row. But I know a lot of people have fun. But you have to unplug from the matrix. They got everybody in their phone like a zombie, and all this stuff is happening, and people are just unaware and unprepared for everything.
Now, this is not the first time today the NYPD has mentioned scooters. Earlier, the department revealed they are actively investigating more than a dozen robbery patterns in which the suspects rode mopeds or similar scooters.
My knee was very bruised and swollen.
These photos show LC's scrapes after a thief on a moped snatched her purse, dragging her down the sidewalk near this Crown Heights intersection over the summer.
I'm still very paranoid.
She asked us not to show her face because she's afraid the 2 people on the moped will find her and hurt her again.
And this is the problem with New York. I was the same way. It's so hard to get money in New York in a non-negative way. There's so many people, millions of people bunched up into the same neighborhoods. If you live in projects, most of New York is tenements. We live up. You know, like on the West Coast, Midwest, everybody's spread out. New York, we live up. There's thousands of people just on your block, in your neighborhood. There's not enough jobs. Major cities, you can't live in a major city. Like if you live in a major city right now, and you have any way of getting out of there, it is time now to get out of there. It is gonna get worse and worse.
Really, what's worse is I lost my peace of mind, my sense of safety.
She's not alone. This video from June shows another moped mugging in Brooklyn. Here's another from July in Queens, and an attempted robbery on the Upper East Side in August.
The scooter robbery patterns we have throughout the city, I think last count it was up to 16, 17 different patterns.
NYPD Chief of Detectives James Essig says this.
And listen, I want to tell you something. I'm not judging these kids that are committing these crimes. That's not what this video is about. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I always keep it real on Demons Row. I did shit like this when I was younger. I would rob people. I would do things like I did time as a juvenile for robbery. Like there's something in the water in New York that makes you think this way. Poverty does this to people, but you know what does this to people even more? I guarantee you, everybody in that equation, when they go home, there is no father in that house. I'm telling you, in my neighborhood, growing up, it was more common to have a divorced family where the father wasn't around. My father was locked up all my life. It was more common to not have a father than to have a father. And that's the major problem. The women are running the show. They can't protect the kids, so they're out here joining gangs. And this is why I promote the clubs and the life that I do. Because listen, clubs are not perfect, but it's a lot safer for a young kid to get in a club than it is to get in a gang. And trust me when I tell you, I lived the life. I don't want that for any kid.
Suspect scooters, which often have no plates or the wrong plates, zip by pedestrians on sidewalks.
It's a very difficult stop for patrol if you're in a car to stop one of these scooters. If anybody's seen them riding up and around, it's a very difficult task to do. And that's why the perpetrators are using them.
And it's not just robberies. Police say a man on a moped inappropriately touched women at 7 different locations in Brooklyn recently. And Sunday, officers say a person on this moped shot a 75-year-old man in the leg in the West Farms section of the Bronx.
75-year-old man. The demons is out right now. They are running around these streets. That area right there, that's where the Bronx Zoo is. One of my favorite places to ever go. It's so fun there. That's the best part of the zoo right there, the Asia entrance where the monorail is and all that. It's a fun place to go to, but it's a dangerous neighborhood. So if you're going to ever visit New York, make sure that you know where you're going and you're with people that know what they're doing, or just stay in Manhattan, in the city. Because you start going to the Bronx, Brooklyn, stuff like that, it's different. You got to know what you're getting into when you go there.
Many mopeds are legal in New York, but they require registration. The NYPD says they're confiscating illegal mopeds to grapple with the problem. Live in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, Tim McNicholas, CBS 2 News.
So I'm telling you, it gets more wicked every day. The subway crimes, there's old people getting beat up. There's girls getting beat up, killed, shot. Like, it's getting crazy again, where when you go into the train, you really got to watch your back like back in the days. Like, it's getting real, and it's going to happen in all the major cities. If anybody has ideas of what we could do to start unifying, start taking that first leap. Like, I'm only a voice here, but we need the whole community to stand up. A lot of us feel the same way, and if we come together, trust me when I tell you, a lot of shit will change. The way MCs, the way bikers are built, a lot of this shit ain't gonna fly if we're around. And if we're unified, it will just stop. Once it's known, I don't know if you remember back in the days, they had a group called the Guardian Angels. They were like a vigilante group, and they would find somebody and bust if they like rob an old lady's purse or something. If MCs, not to be like all one group, but if you see that bike, you see that cut, or you see that biker, you just know you can't do that shit around here. A lot of things will change. You got to think about it. There's hundreds of thousands of us. If you want to support the road, get your Ghostaveli Mask, the anti-PURGE mask, the anti-Illuminati mask. You could get that at www.demonsroad.com. I got another video where I break down the Safety Act in Illinois. The Purge is definitely hitting there. January is gonna get crazy out there. It'll be linked above. And thank you for tuning in to Demons Row TV, the holy grail of MC culture. Like, subscribe, and comment. And oh yeah, we ghosting, baby.
Ooh.